Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and I just rolled the credits on Alan Wake 2. So, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and do my review for this game now. There was a lot. So, I played half of the game the other day, and then I just finished the other half today. So there was a little bit of time spaced out between this, but I did do a review on progress pretty much for the first part of the game that I'd played through. Got up to, gosh, I don't know, probably like chapter 6 or so, chapter 5, when I first did that review. And so things are going to be a little bit kind of all over the place, but this game was absolutely incredible. 100% Remedy knocked this out of the park. 10 out of 10. Probably the best survival horror game I have ever played, hands down. And I'm not just saying that. Like, that's true. This was an incredible masterpiece from start to finish. The way Alan Wake 2 pulls you into its story and pulls you into these characters, and you immediately fall in love with the characters and the supporting cast, and just how every single thing drives this story. Even if you're just dawdling, looking around, finding things, looking for secrets, like just admiring the beautiful art, the beautiful visuals of this game is enough to like drag you in and immerse you in this experience. So I want to talk, a little bit about combat, because if you played the first game, you're going to feel right at home. You got the dodge button, you've got the flashlight to hit them with the flashlight. You hit them with the flashlight, and like it makes it so you can, like, the combat, while it's not like super what's the word for it? Well, it's not like super imaginative for the second game. There are some interesting aspects in this. And when you're in the heat of battle and you've got all these the enemies coming at you, and you got to hit them with the light, then you got to like dodge, you got to dodge. Like, this game is so fast paced in the in the combat that it just feels like, oh my gosh, man, it's like it gets kind of white knuckle, man. Like, it gets white knuckle in like the boss fights and stuff like that. You're like, oh my freaking gosh, this was cool. This was like some very cool combat. I had a really good time with it, having to switch between weapons and stuff, because ammo is so scarce. This was good. Like, I really loved the combat in Alan Wake. I would say that it's definitely better than like Resident Evil 4 remake, for sure. It's more it's more intimate in how you like in how you handle the combat situations in this game. Like Resident Evil, man, I've been playing Resident Evil games for so long that that combat's just like second nature, and it's fun, but I feel like there's more depth to the way the combat feels in Alan Wake 2. So I do like that, and I do give a nod to Remedy for the incredible combat in this game. I think it was absolutely awesome. Some points there's not a whole lot of it, but then there's, because there's a lot of exploration and stuff like that. But so I want to talk about, because there's two characters in this game, two main characters now. You've got Saga Anderson, you've got Alan Wake, obviously. I would say that my favorite part of the game is the Saga Anderson side of it. I love the detective aspect that, that her character brings to this game. Like, it is fun, like profiling people, building a case board, getting everything all mapped out and everything, finding clues, piecing everything together. And it's cool. Like, you don't have to do that, but it's cooler to do it that way. Because if you go through the story and you don't go to your mind place, you have this thing called the mind place when you're playing a Saga Anderson. You can hit the select button, you go into your mind place, and you can just like stop and think about things and throw things around in your head and stuff like that. Well, you can also build a case board. and you put like the little the thumbtacks in the wall with the string and all of that stuff. Very, very cool. I love how they did this, and I love how they pulled it off. But like I was saying, when you go around and you explore and you find things and you pick things up, you examine things, you'll get like a little picture or something, and then you'll be able to put these on your case board, and it will help you figure out where you need to go. And I really love that aspect, because it like gives you some, it's super entertaining to get in there, and gives you a minute away from all the action to where you can sit, where you can figure things out, where you can piece together some of the story, where you can learn some of the lore, where you can pretty much get like your bearings and figure this out. But sometimes I would when I was playing through the game and I was just finding stuff and figuring it out really quick, boom, next thing you know, like I would go into my mind place and a whole bunch of it would just fill in, and I was like, oh man, like I kind of felt sad about that. I kind of wanted to, figure that stuff out. But there was just like certain parts in the game where I would start getting a little bit too fast, and I'd be doing things and I'd be figuring things out, and I'd just be so immersed in the action that I was just going from, point to point. So that was kind of cool. I love how they fill it in, if you just kind of move past it, that's kind of cool, so you're not sitting there wasting time. Like, I do get that, and that does make sense. But that's pretty cool that there's all of that. So you'll also use that because there's a lot of puzzles in this game. There's like little chests that you'll be able to open up. There's puzzles that you'll have to like figure things out to like open a doorway or to find something to progress the story. I love those things. I love those. There's a part where you're in like this where you're at like Coffee Land or whatever, and it's kind of like an amusement, a small little amusement park type thing over in the watery area. Well, there's like these puzzles. Like, you have to like figure out this one puzzle. I swear I sat there for like 20 minutes trying to figure that out. I'm not going to spoil anything in the game. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. This would be 100% spoiler free. But there's like these puzzles in this game. They're not like super hard, but they are going to make you kind of think, and I absolutely love that. I mean, they're different than what you would figure out in like Resident Evil. These are completely on a different level. They're not super hard, but if you don't like read it right the first time or comprehend it, like, it could get a little confusing. There was a couple of them that got confusing, and it literally took me a few minutes. Other stuff is you're like trying to figure out, oh my gosh, what are they called? The little they're code. They're like coded locks or whatever. And you'll have to like there'll be like things that you'll have to figure out, how to undo the lock. Those are very cool. They don't take a whole lot of time to figure out, but like once you start figuring out, kind of get yourself in a little pattern of how to figure those out, that's not that bad. And those usually have a bunch of supplies, stuff like that. Normally those weren't really too much around like progressing the story. That was just more of like finding cool stuff to have on your character, or more weapons, more ammo, something like that. So that was pretty cool. I really do appreciate that. Finding the manuscript pages, they'll kind of give you like a little heads up of what's going on, stuff like that. You can choose to ignore those, or you can like get in there and read them. When you pick them up, it doesn't read them for you, but like if you do, it kind of spoils the story a little bit. There are multiple areas in Alan Wake 2 that you're going to be going to. You're going to go to like an old folks home or you're going to go to the lake. Obviously, you'll be in Bright Falls. You'll be running around in that area. You've got Watery, where there's the trailer park and everything in there. Then you've got, then it's like New York or something that you're running around while you're in Alan Wake, and that's pretty cool too. But for the most part, most of the maps are going to be for like Saga's character. You're going to do a lot more exploration. You're going to do like, I would say that's where the main girth of the whole campaign is going to be. That's where like the most gameplay for each character. I think that I'm pretty sure that there's far more gameplay for Saga than there was for Alan Wake. A lot of his stuff was kind of short, but for Saga, man, dude, her story was absolutely incredible. The way they wrote her into this, the way that things play out, the way that she interacts with the story, and just that was very cool. So another thing, I'm a big Control fan. I freaking love Control, and I love that they found a way to tie Alan Wake and Control together. So hopefully, like in Control 2, we'll get, you know, some more stuff on like Alan Wake. That would be freaking awesome to be able to have that. I'm not going to spoil any more about that because I'm not going to tell you everything that's in there. But once you see some of this stuff and like some of the things that you first saw in Control, if you ever played that game, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, dude, that is so freaking cool, man. I can't believe, like, it blew my mind, man, because I'm such a Control fan that when I saw some of these things from Control in this game, it absolutely blew my mind and made me very happy. Very, very happy. So now I want to talk a little bit about Alan Wake's section, because if you played the first game, you played the whole game as Alan Wake. This time here, you had obviously both characters. You played, I would say Saga's character was the more action-oriented type experience for this. Alan Wake, on the other hand, was more of a, I don't know, like running through mazes type stuff, you know, doing like story type, like it was really cool too. Like his was more of like this like trippy, like running in circles type deal, and just, I mean, like Saga did a little bit of that too, but like on his gameplay, I mean, like in Saga, when you go into the underneath or whatever, the go to the other side, you'll go through some of that stuff. But Alan Wake's was pretty much all centered in the dark place, so it was like his was like more trippy, like more psychedelic, more like, whoa, this is like a dream, but it's like freaking weird. And like, so Saga has her little profiling and her little case board and all of that stuff that she can do. Alan, on the other hand, is a writer, so he can change scenes up and all kinds of stuff. So his is a lot more tricky. His whole playthrough is more puzzly, and, you know, like some lighter combat, not a whole bunch, you know. I mean, with his like, you know, his is a lot more like puzzles, a lot more psychedelic trippy type stuff, a lot more like trying to figure things out, stuff like that. So is what you do with him is, instead of having like the profile board that Saga has, you'll have a director's board where you can mix and match different types of scenes, you know, in different types of areas that will unlock different types of pathways. So you can get very confused very quickly in the Alan Wake levels of this game. If and like, seriously, like some of it, like you're in the subway area, and when you first get in there, it's like, it's a little bit weird. Like you're in there and you're like running around. You feel like you're running in circles a lot, but trust me, there is there is a method to the madness on the Alan Wake side that once you get in there and you start figuring it out and you kind of play it. My whole first level with Alan Wake, I kind of just ran through that one and I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then as the chapters continued to go and it progressively got different, I was like, whoa. And then when you start figuring out things, you know, like how to slot these different types of scenes. Yeah, they're different types of scenes. Like you'll change the story or something like that, and it'll change the environment. It'll change everything around you, and it will like either open up a pathway or close off a pathway, or something. So there's like these weird, tricky spots that like you'll have to like, because you can like take the light from somewhere and then like put it somewhere else. But there's like a few trickster spots in there where like you're literally like maybe 5 feet away from where you would like do this, but it will open up a completely different path if you do it just right. So that was freaking awesome. I love the setting for Alan Wake. His is a lot smaller. It's like a city, like a New York City area. There's a lot of like, there's like a hotel, there's like the building that he lives in, there's the subway, there's, you know, just the upper streets and a theater, a talk show place. There's all these different areas that you're going to be going through, and I would say Alan's story is a little bit more heavy-handed in some of the really cool like effects that they show you. Like when you start playing his thing, oh my gosh, you're going to be blown away. Like, this game is awesome. So now I want to talk about the atmosphere of Alan Wake 2, man. Oh my gosh, they absolutely nailed this. very frightening. I mean, I'm a grown man, and there was some stuff in there that was pretty frightening. Yes, there are jump scares every once in a while, but the way... and those are like, usually when you're like, I don't know, like the jump scares are one thing, but the actual atmosphere of this being a horror game is a lot more like, whew, gosh, that's nerve-wracking, you know, just like going to an area, like walking through an area, like you actually get like that sense of like, oh my gosh, impending doom when you're walking through some of these areas, or when you're about to open a door, or when you're going through a tunnel, or when you're coming out. It absolutely nails the horror atmosphere very, very well. And I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, some people might actually be like, "Well, guys, I don't want to play that game. It's too scary." And I get it, man. I get it. But if you just tough through it, you will freaking love this game, and it will be incredible. Like, this game was incredible. It was almost like a 180 from Control, in terms of like, you know, Control is like, oh, a very, very cool game, like run around, explore, Metroidvania type deal. Whereas Alan Wake 2 is more of a linear experience with open areas that you can go to and from. Like you can easily get lost in this game if you were just out running around, going to the wrong places, not listening to, not using your case board, not profiling, not any of that type of stuff. So this game could take you a while to get through. My save time is right around, I'm like right around 20 hours of gameplay for Alan Wake 2. I think I played it like 10 hours the one week, 10 hours this week. So yeah, I'm about 20 hours into this. Like, you could get through this story in about 20 hours, but yeah, you could potentially like space that out even more, or you can, you know, just you know, kind of play through the story at your own pace. There were a few things that were kind of confusing, you know, and most of that had to do with like the whole like coffee world place. Like, there was some confusing stuff in there, and it was supposed to be confusing because of the, you know, the guy that created like these things, you know, he's kind of a little bit weird, you know, so they're supposed to be crazy and supposed to kind of throw you off a little bit, but if you just think about it just a little bit, like, you'll figure it out. I promise you you'll figure it out. In terms of like the visual quality of Alan Wake 2, like, there's a lot of stuff going on about like the path tracing and all of that stuff. I played through it on my 7900 XT. I had a solid, stable experience throughout the whole game. It ran well. I ended up playing it without any kind of ray tracing, at native resolution, at 1440p, and the experience was consistent throughout. Even when I got into some of the boss battles, some of the other bigger things where there's just a lot going on, there's like a lot of environmental destruction, stuff like that that's happening all around you at the same time. No slowdown, no problems. Didn't have the game stutter or anything like that. No bugs, no glitches, no freaking stopping on me, nothing. It feels extremely polished. But I did check out, you know, the path tracing and the ray tracing every once in a while. When I get to like a new area, I would turn it on and I would look around and I'd be like, oh boy, yeah. I would sit there and admire the visuals and take a look at things, see how the shadow play worked, how the lighting worked. Just looking at the reflections and having a good time with that. Very, very nice looking, very nice looking. If you're somebody that has an NVIDIA G4, an NVIDIA RTX card, 4000 series, you're going to probably have an amazing time looking at all of that. If you're on a 7000 series AMD GPU, you could get a 30 FPS experience with this, and it still looks absolutely incredible. But me personally, I absolutely preferred the like 100 FPS that I was getting throughout the whole game. It just felt super smooth and very good, and this game absolutely looks incredible at max settings at 1440p. It was absolutely beautiful. The character detail, the materials detail, just everything in Alan Wake 2 absolutely blew me away. Like, this is probably one of the best games in the horror genre, like I said earlier, that I've ever played in my life. This game kept me on the edge of my seat. This game delivered a beautiful experience. This game delivered some really cool, interesting combat for a game like this in this genre. It felt good. You felt powerful. You also felt vulnerable at the same time, but you could also, move around. You could run from, the things if you needed to, if you were low on ammo. So I love the fact that this game, the way it came together and the overall, even like the real life action, like action storyboards that they had in this, like the real life acting and stuff that, throughout there, that was done very well. Like, very convincing. I was like, gosh dang, man, these guys are video game developers and they are acting this out. These guys are incredible, man. So I've been kind of on a roll lately, handing out 10s like candy. Seriously. I want you guys to know that when I get through a video game and I enjoy it, and it impacts me in a way to where I'm like, whoa, man, that was cool. That made me think. Alan Wake is above that. Like, those games for me are, 10s. Alan Wake 2 is definitely more than that. This game here is definitely going to be, like, in my, like, top games ever played easily. This game was incredible from start to finish. It had such an amazing attention to detail, and the way this story comes together, and like the characters and just everything, the absolute beauty of this game. This game is more than just a 10 for me. It's more than just a 10 for me. This game is a game of the generation, like the next step in what survival horror can be, taking it to that next level, both visually, both gameplay wise, both freaking, as well as, just story wise, story content, the way it worked out, the way that things came together. This was incredible. This was absolutely incredible. Like, obviously it's a 10, but I don't know, like, this is more than that for me on this one. Like them other games that I play, like Spider-Man 2 or Starfield or anything like that, those are good games. Those are 10s easily. I fully enjoyed those experiences, but Alan Wake 2 is an absolute freaking masterpiece that deserves every freaking penny it earns, because this game is awesome, and I think that you would really enjoy this one. So if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.